The following is a special Firewatch 2000 presentation from Montana's news station.
I'm not trying to politicize anything. I want healthy forests.
I've been hearing bombers go over. They're dropping good things, so it feels good.
Well, it sounded, I've heard people say a freight train, and that's probably what it was, a steady roar, and there was a wall of fire right there.
This is a special presentation from Montana's news station, Firewatch 2000, September 2nd. Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Labor Day weekend. For the first time since we began bringing you these Firewatch 2000 special programs, there is hope that this season of fire may be slowing down, but perhaps not coming to an end just yet. Rain has fallen over many areas with fire, bringing with it hope and a chance for firefighters to make more progress in containing Montana's blazes. Still, this past week has been one of new concerns, new evacuations, fresh destruction, and fresh controversy. But to begin our program tonight, a brief review of the evolution of fire over the past month. As August began, fire already had been on the Montana landscape for a couple of weeks, with major fires burning east of the Rocky Mountains, at Canyon Ferry Reservoir and in the southeastern quarter of the state. But significant blazes also had begun near the Idaho border and Lolo Pass, and near the western fringe of the Bob Marshall Wilderness. By August 7th, the fire landscape had changed dramatically, especially in the Bitterroot Mountains and Valley. Dozens of homes and other buildings had been lost, and hundreds of thousands of acres of forest and pasture land had gone up in flames. Fire was burning near Superior, along the border of the Flathead Indian Reservation, the 9 Mile area west of Missoula, Glacier National Park, and in the Sapphire Mountains between Hamilton and Phillipsburg. By August 14th, the picture included fires west of Drummond and south of Helena. The first significant fires on the Kootenai National Forest appeared. Fires began burning north of Jordan, in the wilderness west of Choteau, and west of Yellowstone Park. By August 21st, the Modlo-Toston fire was added east of Townsend, while other blazes began northwest of Missoula, west of Kalispell, even in southeast Montana near Ekalaka. More fires sprouted in the Kootenai and Flathead National Forest regions. And by August 28th, the firescape included new fires between Great Falls and Lewistown, in the Rock Creek drainage east of Missoula, on the Gallatin Forest near Wilsall, and 2 serious new fires in the greater Billings region. Last weekend brought fire to south central Montana, in fact almost to the back door of Billings itself. A fire broke out east of the Lockwood area on the evening of Saturday, August 26th. High winds drove the blaze over dry grass and brush for several miles, destroying at least one structure in the first few hours and threatening numerous homes. The blaze was named the Pease Fire, and by Monday afternoon it had been corralled by firefighters after scorching about 4,600 acres. By week's end, it was no longer an active fire. But the biggest fire story of the week erupted southwest of Billings, along the scenic Beartooth Highway near Red Lodge.
I just wanted a better idea because I just, like I said, live down the canyon about a mile, and I just wanted to know.
I get all your stuff together
This
just in
is
case.
it. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I got to get you out of here so I can have the fire truck.
I know.
Carbon County Sheriff's deputies blocked roads and helped evacuate homes in threat. About 150 homes affected so far.
We have a full evacuation of the main fork of Rock Creek for all residents to town, as well as evacuating the west fork of Rock Creek clear to town.
Every single rural fire department within a 30-mile radius of Red Lodge is out there helping. Most of their work is to protect structures in the area.
The trees are extremely dry, all the fuels are extremely dry, This kind of country is very difficult to put hand crews on.
The charred remains of a motorcycle remain on the highway. This is the bike that sparked the flames. It took about 2 hours for a fuel tank explosion to burst into a 2,000-acre blaze. In less than 24 hours, the Willie fire has become the state's #1 priority.
This is going to be a very difficult fire to fight. It's not going to be going away in a day or two. It's going to be a very tough one. It could take us a couple weeks, perhaps longer.
Well, we're worried, of course, about everything. Worried about that the fire will go over the ridge and come down into the West Fork, which is where our home is.
Okay, then I'll take one more in here. Go ahead.
For those closed off from their land, the American Red Cross is warning they could be playing the waiting game for quite some time.
It's not going to be over in a day or two. We're looking at weeks here.
That's why volunteers plan to turn the city's civic center into a full-blown shelter with up to 1,000 cots within the next 24 hours.
Even CBS News, which had covered the Bitterroot fires extensively, now turned its attention to Red Lodge.
3,000 acres ablaze in Montana's newest major wildfire. It's one of 31 large fires that burn in the state today, but unlike the others, this one is perilously close to a town. A shift in the wind could mean bad news for the 2,000 residents of Red Lodge.
Weather is going to be the #1 determining factor on whether this fire takes off without any notice or whether the fire goes out.
And while elite firefighting crews were called in to help, life went on as usual for most folks here as the first day of school began.
We live up in Teepee Village. That's pretty close to where the fire was. And our principal and science teacher fought it.
184 students attend Red Lodge's Roosevelt Middle School. Many of them have been evacuated from their homes.
But we have about 22 kids who are not in their homes right now, and so they seem to be coping pretty well.
Elsewhere, a bit of weekend rain helped to slow the huge Modlow-Toston fire between Helena and Bozeman. The fire covered no new ground on Monday, but firefighters had to fight hard Sunday afternoon and evening to contain the blaze from high winds. Firefighters hoped to make substantial headway through the week if the winds continued to lay low. By Friday, the fire had covered 81,000 acres, but had been 60% contained. Meanwhile, calmer conditions allowed smoke from nearby fires to settle into the city of Bozeman, totally obscuring that city's normal view of the Gallatin Range. In northwest Montana, the Cyclone Ridge fire flared up Monday afternoon after a fairly quiet weekend. That fire was only 120 acres at the time, but was threatening a large part of the Coal Creek State Forest west of Polebridge. Crews had to pull back because of erratic winds on Monday. Also on Monday, the Army beefed up its presence in northwest Montana. More than 500 soldiers from the 321st Field Artillery from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, flew into Kalispell. They were to relieve exhausted firefighters on the Troy South and Kootenai complexes.
Well, I think Army's job is to defend our nation against all enemies, including fire. It's just something that's part of our job. It's what we do.
On Tuesday, Governor Roscoe began a tour of some of the hottest firefighting areas in the state. Libby Kirsch caught up with him at the Modlow-Toston Fire Camp.
We came to learn anything that we couldn't learn on a daily basis in a classroom by visiting the fire camps and having the chance to talk with crews. It allows you to refine your intuition.
And the presence of the state's top dogs seemed to mean a lot to those who are helping to fight our state's fires.
Well, that was pretty heart-filling, I guess, important. Made us feel good that, he's concerned about what's going on.
Also this week, Roscoe requested and received from President Clinton a natural disaster declaration for Montana because of the wildfires. Roscoe made news on another front during the past week as well, appearing on 2 Sunday morning news programs calling for more federal attention to the long-term buildup of forest fuels and defending himself against charges of political grandstanding and self-promotion.
I'm not trying to politicize anything. I want healthy forests. And I've been asking for that, and so have many others for a long period of time. And what I'm saying is that the administration, on their watch, has not prioritized this issue.
As this past week wore on, still new fires sprouted on the landscape. Also, for the first time in almost 2 months, weather forecasters talked seriously of rain. Meanwhile, questions about forest fire tactics and priorities, which had been whispered, came out into the open. Here's more from the past 7 days, beginning with Carrie Phillips' report on one new fire north of Helena.
This Wolf Creek Elementary sits silent because children who started school here last week have homes that are threatened by flames, or at least by evacuation. Half a dozen families were forced to evacuate when westbound winds brought flames frighteningly close to homes. Fire crews worked to create a fire line with dozers and retardant to protect Wolf Creek residents.
The main focus is to make sure the fire doesn't back down into Wolf Creek over here. It's approximately a quarter mile above the town.
Fire officials received a call from a Wolf Creek resident with nearly 100 pounds of dynamite in a bunker as flames crept over a ridge towards his home just half a mile down the hill. The dynamite was for mining purposes and was stored for nearly 40 years. Malmstrom's explosive ordnance detail came to the rescue, fixing the situation 10 pounds of dynamite at a time.
They're working right now to remove the dynamite from the bunker where it was stored and transport it to a safe location where it's then detonated and taken care of. That could have been a very dangerous situation, especially when heat encroaches on something that explosive. And we're very, very grateful the guy stood up and said this is something that needs to be taken care of.
80 firefighters and 8 bulldozers have made their way up 3,000 feet of steep terrain to the front lines of the Willie fire.
Under normal circumstances, you allow about an hour per 1,000 feet in elevation gain. In this case, the crews are also constructing fire lines.
It's tough going, and firefighters will have to build more than 8.5 miles of fire lines to surround the blaze. Luckily, Mother Nature is dropping them a break.
This rain is the kind of break firefighters need to be able to concentrate on building line around this fire and not have to worry about flames right in their face trying to push them back.
With the clouds, the higher relative humidities, the lower wind speeds, we feel that we'll be able to get a serious amount of business done on the Willie fire.
Fire officials were optimistic when they met with evacuees and Red Lodge area residents at the Civic Center. Evacuees who live past the Point of Rocks say that's good news after flames came within several hundred feet of dozens of homes there.
That activity was still on the west side of the highway as the crow flies 200 yards from that group of cabins along the Highway 212.
It's pretty close.
Close enough.
Incident Commander Steve Fry told the crowd they're dealing with an extremely complex fire, and he won't speculate on when they'll allow the last of the evacuees to return to their homes.
Our goal is to take the danger out of this fire for the city of Red Lodge and for the homeowners that live outside of town. And I feel very optimistic that we'll be able to do that.
By the way, the inability of fire managers to give local homeowners precise answers to their questions has not set well with some, especially when the questions deal with evacuations, predictions of fire behavior, and the potential return of homeowners to their property. Public meetings with fire officials have been well attended and have left some residents feeling stonewalled.
I just think when they can't answer your questions, and people ask questions basically because they don't have any knowledge, and they want some knowledge. They feel these people are the knowledgeable people, the Forest Service and so on. They haven't answered a question I've asked in there, and they beat around the bush on it all. And I don't know if they're waiting to get their pensions or what they're doing, but I mean, it's one of those things that information, if you don't have information, then people get frustrated.
The past weeks also have brought complaints to Montana's news station about alleged inactivity by firefighters. The allegations and the official responses and explanations have turned into stories almost as prominent as the fires themselves.
But I know
Doug Haas is a Montana logger. For 8 years, he's worked on the fire lines as a tree cutter. He's been working on the Valley Complex fires this summer and is not happy about what he's seen.
they're not going after these fires. They're simply not putting the fires out.
It's a criticism Doug says others share. He says good fire crews aren't allowed to fight fire. They have to sit at camp doing nothing, helplessly watching as valuable timber goes up in smoke.
They are destroying so much timber needlessly for no reason. They're using completely different methods and tactics than I've ever seen.
that.
At the Valley Complex Camp, Incident Commander Joe Stutler says he's felt a similar frustration when fighting other fires, but says this time, snuffing out the flames is not the #1 job.
We have been directed that the public and the firefighter safety are our #1 priority. Everything else is secondary, and until we can ensure that that in fact is achievable, then those are our priorities. In my 32 years, I haven't lost anybody on my watch, and I do not intend to do that by being overcommitted to something that the consequences of failure exceed the probability of success. Sometimes people don't understand or agree what it is we're doing or not doing, so we just need to work with that.
When the fires first broke out, they quickly posed a threat to homes, communities, and lives. Firefighting tactics had to be on structure protection and human safety first. And by the time that was handled, the fires were just too big.
We haven't seen anything like this maybe in our history, maybe even since 1910. We've essentially bought out the store from the standpoint of firefighters.
But one man who's working on the fire line says he's merely watching Montana's natural resources go up in smoke.
The rest of this timber is screwed. They are burning out our forests.
Stutler says Haas is invited to talk with the Valley Complex Fire Management Team about his concerns, but Haas says he fully expects to lose his tree cutting job for speaking up. Meantime, fire managers say these fires could still blow up and threaten more towns and lives. In the end, it's going to be Mother Nature calling the shots.
The strategy is snow, and the tactic and some of it is to do the best we can until the snow gets here. We're not going to put the fire out with the resources we have. We simply can't do it.
It should be said that even amid criticism of firefighting tactics, it's hard to travel anywhere in fire-affected areas without seeing handmade signs thanking and blessing firefighters for their work. I'll have the story of one couple's thankfulness and optimism for the future after these words. It's a scene most of us cannot fully imagine unless we've been there. Racing to save our prized possessions as an orange wall of fire approaches. This week I met a ranch couple in the 9 Mile Valley west of Missoula who saw the worst coming and were spared. Ralph Thisted still can visit his cabin in the upper 9 Mile today, even though the flames from a crown fire in mid-August came within a whisker of burning it to the ground.
Well, it sounded, well, I've heard people say a freight train, and that's probably what it was, a steady roar, and there was a wall of fire right there. It was burning right, and the grass was burning out here, and it didn't, except when you looked at it, it was like opening a stove door.
In anticipation of the fire, Ralph and his wife Betty already had taken their belongings from the cabin to their main ranch lower in the valley. But Ralph stayed with firefighters from the Frenchtown Volunteer Fire Department as they felled nearby trees, set up sprinklers and water pumps, and sprayed fire retardant foam on the cabin walls.
That was the last thing we did, was foam the cabin and then get out. I'm sure if we hadn't had that pump set up in a creek, we'd have lost the cabin, I'm sure.
The Thisteds say other areas on their land escaped the fire, including a number of their favorite big larch trees. But the forest next to the cabin is a monochrome tableau of black, gray, and white, broken occasionally by new shoots of grass. They've already begun planning for their next forest.
We already have a forester and lined up and logging, and as soon as we get into the woods, we'll start getting rid of the dead fire-killed trees.
And then look forward to being able to see all the way up the creek and see a lot that we haven't seen before and understand a lot more about regeneration. I see it as a tool for educational opportunities.
And you get to see a new forest.
Get to see a new forest, and we get to watch the weeds that hopefully won't come up. And so we see it as a real positive.
I'll be back with final words in just a moment. Whether the fires of 2000 end soon or linger on until the first snows, the discussion of them will last long after the ashes have cooled. Already, politicians, government agencies, natural resource industries, and environmental organizations are girding for the debate over how to manage public lands in Montana and the Rocky Mountain West in the coming decades. We'll certainly hear more about the relative values of forest land, fisheries, and habitat in relation to humans' desire to make homes in the woods and pursue livelihoods and recreation in or near them. By the way, this is our last scheduled Firewatch 2000 special program, but it's not the end of our coverage. Thank you for your interest in these reports, and keep watching Montana's news station. On behalf of all the people at Montana's news station, I'm Ian Marquand. Good night.